Dr. Pohl's team. Diane, his wife, his son Charles, and Dr. Brenda are always standing by.
Dr. Pohl, a cherished veterinarian, has changed the lives of countless people by his exceptional compassion for animals. But behind the scenes, his loved ones have been through a terrible tragedy. The tragic loss that Charles, Dr. Pohl's loving son, suffered altered the course of his life in irrevocable ways. Please tell me what became of Charles and how the Pohl family was affected by this terrible event. Join us as we reveal the tragic backstory that no one has told you. Charles Pohl is the son of the famous veterinarian Dr. Jan Pohl, who became famous because to the fantastic Dr. Pohl has a narrative that weaves together triumph, happiness, and profoundly individual sorrow. Famous for his work as both an actor and producer on his father's program, Charles has been an integral part of millions of viewers' introduction to the fascinating world of animal care. But many fans may not realize that Charles had a darker side to his life, one that was defined by hardship and tragedy, away from the spotlight and the family's ascent to stardom. Beginning with his childhood in the company of his parents and several animals, this documentary follows Charles Pohl as he embarks on a television career and plays a pivotal part in the creation of the hit show. A narrative that is both amazing and heartbreaking will be brought to light as we delve into the significant problems that Charles has endured behind the scenes. On Charles Pohl's life, which began on March 6, 1979, in Michigan's Central Region, was nothing short of extraordinary. Dr. Jan Pohl and his wife Diane took Charles in as an infant, and he grew up in a household where dogs were considered extended family. Think about what it would be like to have a veterinary clinic as a second house, pigs as a neighbor, and cows as your neighbors as you were a kid. The chaos of agricultural life engulfed little Charles. Instead of playing computer games or exchanging baseball cards like his friends, Charles would rather hold down goats or retrieve scalpels for his dad. One might say that "work hard and don't step in manure" was almost the family motto. Charles began working on the farm with his dad as soon as he could grasp a bucket. He learned to love animals and deal with the constant commotion by honing his sense of humor. Charles, however, was dissatisfied with his life as a veterinarian. Even while it was exciting to see his dad wrangle a 500-pound cow, he had aspirations beyond the confines of the barn. As his father examined cows, Charles daydreamed about a different type of limelight, the Hollywood kind. Without the aroma of cow pies, he wished to breathe life into tales. With a strong will, and perhaps a sturdy pair of boots, he left behind the muddy, furry, and farm-related memories of his youth, and embarked on a journey to forge his own way. Charles finally achieved success in television production, where he developed into the brilliant brain behind the groundbreaking Dr. Pohl. Charles may not have continued his father's career in veterinary medicine, but he did find a way to bring his unique perspective to the family's remarkable story, demonstrating that although the family's circumstances may have been challenging, they were never truly overcome. Charles Pohl's talent for storytelling began at a young age, and he had the ability to captivate an audience of any size, from close friends and family to a barn full of animals. Charles Pohl's interests were entirely focused on the glitter of show business, in stark contrast to his father Dr. Jan Pohl's lifelong commitment to veterinary care. Charles attended the University of Miami and majored in communications after finishing high school, which was a huge step in realizing his goals. He had big dreams of a life away from the rural life and farm animals of central Michigan, and he was ready to leave his small-town upbringing behind. Everyone thought Charles would be just like his dad and work with cow manure and syringes, but he had other ideas. He wanted to be a screenwriter instead, surrounded by cameras and the limelight of Hollywood. After finishing college, Charles was resolute in his goal of becoming a famous actor or actress, so he packed his things and moved to Hollywood. There, he gained practical experience in a cutthroat industry by interning for well-known production businesses. Charles had several challenges upon moving to Hollywood from his rural childhood, but he overcame them all by drawing on his inquisitive nature, strong work ethic, and perseverance. While he was in Los Angeles, Charles had the opportunity to learn from renowned artists such as Edward James Olmos and Sidney Pollack. Despite the difficulty of the internships, he gained significant insight into the entertainment industry's inner workings. From juggling several tasks at once to mastering the craft of screen storytelling, he became proficient in all aspects of production. These early years were crucial for Charles because they provided him the foundation he needed to succeed in the film and television industries and the self-assurance to go after his lofty ambitions. In the long run, this event would pave the way for his involvement in the phenomenal Dr. Paul, the program that made his small-town veterinary practice famous all over the world. Despite Charles's decision to leave the humble farm life behind for the glitz of Hollywood, his heritage played a significant role in shaping his greatest achievement. Charles Paul still had a strong connection to his family and the extraordinary environment he was raised in, even if he had dreams of stardom in Hollywood. Charles, after a long career in show business, came to the realization that his favorite story, the veterinary clinic of his father, Dr. Jan Paul, and the family's everyday lives, had everything you need for a riveting reality TV series. Dr. Paul's enormous personality, no-nonsense approach to veterinary treatment, and unmatched devotion to animals were unlike anything seen on television. Charles came up with the concept of making a program in 2011 that would chronicle his father's rural Michigan veterinarian clinic. He recognized an opportunity to bring attention to the difficulties and triumphs of providing veterinary care in a rural area, in addition to exhibiting his father's remarkable work. Charles approached National Geographic Wild with his idea, armed with his dedication and years of expertise in the field. A special allure for the Paul family and their narrative was immediately apparent to the network, and a baby boy named Paul was born, and viewers were immediately enthralled by its combination of humorous anecdotes, insightful educational commentary, and touching moments. Charles did double duty, both as an executive producer and a regular cast member. His wit, his close relationship with his dad, and his knowledge of what goes on behind the scenes were all vital to the success of the show. Charles oversaw the work of Dr. Thanks to Paul. The family became famous all over the world. Not only did the show honor the bond between humans and animals, but it also provided an honest look at the pros and cons of rural veterinary care. Thanks to Charles's foresight and tireless effort, the show's storyline has stayed genuine, interesting, and faithful to the family's origins, winning over people all over the globe. Charles Paul's personal life has been filled with emotional ups and downs, despite his impressive professional achievements. The 2018 wedding of Charles and Beth Oakes, a longtime friend of the Paul family and a childhood acquaintance, was one of life's most joyful landmarks. Their friendship and the memories they shared over the years laid the groundwork for their eventual romantic connection. Inviting and joyous, the wedding was attended by loved ones and Dr. Paul, who were overjoyed to see Charles's significant action. Viewers adored Charles and Beth's love story because of their authentic bond and the joy they gave to one another's lives. Abigail was born to the happy couple in 2019, adding another member to their family. With her birth, Charles began a new chapter in his life, fully immersing himself in parenthood while maintaining his trademark humor and unwavering love to his followers. The birth of a son to the Paul family in 2021, just 2 years after Charles's marriage, cemented his position as a doting parent. The experience of being a parent taught Charles the ins and outs of family life and the difficulty of juggling one's professional and personal obligations. The fact that Charles has always put his family first, even if he is a successful TV producer, shows that he finds happiness not just in front of the camera, but also in the company of his loved ones. Considering how popular Dr. Tragically Charles Paul and his expanding family were rocked to their very core by a terrible event. Tragically, Adam Butch, who was 23 years old when he died in September 2019, was Charles's brother-in-law. Kathleen Paul, Charles's sister, adored Adam, and he was a treasured part of their tight-knit family. Adam's tragic death was a devastating blow that no amount of time or money could ever compensate for. Adam, a promising young man, had been very close to Charles and the rest of the Paul family, taking part in all of their celebrations and goings-on. His death was a terrible blow to his loved ones and a sobering reminder of how precarious life can be. The death struck close to home for Charles, who had a magnetic personality and a gift for making others feel better. He did his best to be there for his sister and the rest of the family emotionally while they went through this difficult period. Those who watched the Pauls' lives on TV and social media could see their sadness even as they opted to grieve discreetly. Time is precious, and Adam's death served as a sobering reminder of that. The tragedy exposed the humanity beneath the Paul family's public face, proving that even famous people may experience pain. The death of Adam was a sad chapter in an otherwise happy story for Charles, who was already struggling to maintain a healthy work-life balance while also caring for his own expanding family. The tragedy only served to strengthen the already close relationship between the Paul family, who seldom publicly discussed the extent of their pain. It served as a gentle reminder to viewers that the Pauls are just like any other family, overcoming adversity with love, strength, and mutual support, behind the scenes of their veterinary success stories. It says a lot about Charles's character that he can be strong for his family even when things go tough. Charles Paul has taken comfort in his family and his career despite the fact that he is still struggling to cope with this devastating loss. After suffering a devastating loss with his brother-in-law Adam Butch, Charles was able to transform his sorrow into a fresh determination. His focus was squarely onto Dr. Paul and other artistic endeavors. He uses his platform to uplift and inspire via entertainment and storytelling. He showed his faith in the restorative power of connection and storytelling by gently weaving themes of optimism, perseverance, and the value of cherishing loved ones into the play. A silent champion for mental health awareness, Charles also became. His deeds spoke more than words, even if he was quiet about his personal troubles. His admirers were moved by his capacity to keep making meaningful material even after experiencing such a devastating loss. Many looked up to the Paul family for how they handled themselves throughout this tough period. In his approach, Charles emphasized the significance of reaching out for help, discovering one's life's purpose, and maintaining relationships with loved ones, especially during difficult times. People all throughout the globe found encouragement in the Paul family's ability to persevere during this challenging time. The fact that Charles has never wavered in his commitment to his loved ones, his career, and his own development is evidence of his resilience and his capacity to transform adversity into strength and inspiration. Being born into a renowned family has its advantages, but Charles Paul has also had to deal with the difficulties that come with being famous. Charles has not been spared the continual scrutiny that comes with living a life in the spotlight. Being the head honcho behind Dr. over the years, Paul, he has been the target of a great deal of controversy and criticism. Some groups and individuals have spoken out against the show because of the portrayal of some veterinarian procedures. The show's realism and the Paul family's commitment to animal care are appreciated by many fans. However, others have questioned the techniques displayed, leading to disputes in professional and social circles. Charles has not had an easy time navigating these controversy. In his role as showrunner, he has had to walk a fine line between responding to public concerns and protecting the show's authenticity. Playing the part has tested his diplomatic skills, tenacity, and dedication to keeping the program true to itself while yet honoring its viewers. Online rumors and conjecture over Charles's personal life have added to his work troubles. Being a public figure has exposed me to rumors, baseless accusations, and the occasional severe criticism from total strangers. Charles, though, has stuck with his family and the show's goal the whole way. Charles has persevered through the challenges of celebrity by drawing strength from his family values and the good upbringing he received from Dr. Jan and Diane Paul. Behind the scenes of his public demeanor and the cameras is a guy who is incredibly committed to his job, his family, and the principles that make up the Paul heritage. His ability to persevere in difficult times is evidence of his character. The work that Charles Paul did for Doctor, his impact on reality television, has been cemented without a doubt by Paul. His contributions as both an executive producer and an on-screen personality have been crucial in developing the show's distinctive charm. By means of Doctor through his role as Paul, Charles was able to bring the rural United States and the mainstream media closer together, highlighting the universal appeal and inherent difficulties of veterinary medicine. Charles has taken the Paul family's strong work ethic and fundamental principles into homes all around the globe through his honest and enthralling narrative. Professionals and fans alike have come to respect his commitment to comedy and kindness in depicting the reality of rural living and animal care. Charles will be remembered most for his time spent as a husband and parent, rather than for his success in the television industry. Charles's dedication to his family has never wavered, even in the face of immense personal tragedy, such as the death of his brother-in-law and the demands of celebrity. The importance of a stable and caring home life is shown in his unwavering commitment to his wife Beth and their daughter Abigail and their boy. Success, as Charles's story demonstrates, isn't measured by material possessions or popularity, but rather by the capacity to face adversity head-on and emerge stronger on the other side. An impressive reflection of his character is his ability to balance being a devoted family guy with his work success. Charles Paul's, Dr. Jan Paul's life is an inspiring tale of perseverance, love, and resolve. From his childhood helping out on the farm with his dad to his successful Hollywood career and the creation of the hit reality program Dr. The Life of Charles Paul has been marked by both widespread adulation and intense inner turmoil. His personal struggles have molded him into the person he is today, even though his professional success is indisputable. After suffering the unanticipated and devastating loss of his brother-in-law Adam Butch, Charles has shown remarkable strength in the face of adversity. His perseverance, which he attributes to the principles and strength instilled in him by his parents, has allowed him to find comfort in his job and his family.